practices, this is going back to the fish handling, watching not to exhaust the fish. I know a lot of people like to play fish forever. That's a practice that probably needs to kind of slowly dissipate, because it does tend to stress the fish out a lot. In particular, paying close attention to how long you're handling or playing a fish, in particular in the warmer months. Some folks actually choose, once the waters here hit a certain temperature, to stop fishing for a little bit to give them a bit of a break. I'm in agreement with that. I think that there's sometimes the lakes just get too hot, and certainly with like the increasing the climate that we had even last year, in particular here in BC, and I'm sure Washington State felt that a bit too, you know, with our wildfires and certain issues. Our lakes definitely suffered from a lot of warm temperatures as well. Just paying attention to temperature, and you can check out temperature either through, if you have a fish finder that will measure temperature, or you can even use the thermometer if you have it in a pinch. Barbless hooks all the way. Our regulations in British Columbia deem that needs to happen, although we still have stores and distributors that still sell like treble hooks and stuff, which is very East Coast Canada for us. Pinch your barbs, because there's nothing worse than not pinching a barb or forgetting to pinch a barb, and then you realize that this is going to cause the mortality of a fish that you would have liked to have put back. So again, better for you and better for the fish. Dehooking the fish in water really helps. Keep them submerged in the net so that they still have oxygen and that they still have access to water. That really helps. It also usually is easier for you to be able to get in with the hemostats and get that removed if you can't do it with your hand, or, you know, sometimes it gets tricky with your hand. They got sharp teeth. You are choosing to do a fish photo, which is, I certainly don't condone fish photos. I got fish photos, and I certainly have some fish photos that I would absolutely cringe at now, like, you know, in my, you know, being 16, 17, 18. Even in my 20s, there were certain fish handling photos that you're just like, oh my God. So when you know better, you do better. And so this is one of those things where if you're choosing to do a photo, that you're minimizing the amount of air exposure to the fish before they go back in the water. So kind of like a hold up, no more than 5 seconds, and put them back in and go. In some cases, depending on where you're fishing and how you've fished, so if you've chronomid fished and you've done deep water, make sure that you don't just like throw the fish back in if you can help it. I know sometimes those Wrigley guys like to just throw themselves back in, but ensure that the fish is actually revived and good to go and goes off on itself, because that certainly is an indicator of the fish being able to take care of itself. There's nothing worse than letting a fish go and then you see it like, oh my God, like belly up. No. So take good care.